South Bend City Council meeting, July 25th, 2022.
Are we? Perfect. All right, let's call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was a little weird.
That's pretty tough to do from Zoom.
That was a little different.
It's everyone's at a different pace because of the time lag.
You're all right.
All right. Do we have any items from the public tonight? Yes, Bob Hall.
Couple things. One, I know the recreational dock is a work in progress, but I was curious about the water and electric. Is that going to be installed?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna talk about that later, but I'm gonna address it now. So marine floats, they're the ones that designed it and all that. They're gonna be here the first week of August and install water. And I think the pedestals for the tower are a little bit delayed. It might be like 2 months out. I thought I heard something around 2 months, but they'll get it all set up.
And inside cleats?
I
saw them on there.
They're on there. They
Yeah.
should be, yeah. I thought they were gonna be on there.
Oh,
Not on there?
Inside ones, the outside ones are fine. They're there.
No, I thought I saw it inside once.
I thought I did too.
I just walked it. I didn't see them. But
Okay, well, yeah.
I could be wrong.
Well, we got, so we took all the old floats and we pulled all the stuff, all the used materials off that. So we'll have some cleats that if they're not on there, we can put them on there.
And do you know when is it Roglins that's doing the piling?
Quigs.
Quig, okay. Are they going to take off any of the barnacles and stuff on the piles? Some
Um,
have a lot, some not so much.
They were gonna try, but we'll probably end up having to scrape that.
Final question on the dock. When are the pay envelopes going to return?
I haven't even talked about that yet. I don't know.
And another subject on your agenda tonight is noise ordinance, and I thought the 10 o'clock was just fine, but I was surprised. I thought that was already in place. I seem to remember in past years that a 10 o'clock noise was enforced. Maybe it's before your time, Lucas.
I've been here 15 years and there's never been a 10 o'clock. So there's a midnight for the chamber
Yeah.
and that's it.
So anyway, that seems to be, I mean, I read some on social media, some people are concerned. But it seems like in the typical way that the South Bend enforces ordinances, we don't go out and willy-nilly cite people if they, you know, somebody's out talking after 10 o'clock. I mean, it has to be typically, you can correct me if I'm wrong, pretty severe or gross, or, you know, they make a warning and they just totally blow you off. That's the time that somebody actually gets cited.
Yeah, and I plan on kind of going over that when we get to the ordinance and if the council has a discussion on it, kind of go over our procedure with that.
That was all.
Okay, does anyone else have anything from the public? Okay, we'll move on to item 4. Have a motion to approve the agenda, the consent agenda, and the minutes from July 11, 2022. Patricia moves. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'm not sure who that was. You guys in the room, you're gonna have to raise your hand because I can't see you very well. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
See all in favor. Do we have any correspondence though?
No.
Okay. So I've got 5:34. We'll open the public hearing for the 6-year transportation improvement plan, 2023 to 2028. And I'll just go through, it's in the packet, so most of you have probably seen it, but I'll go through the first couple years. For 2023, the First Street Road reconstruction and widening, add a sidewalk on one side of the roadway and storm improvements from A Street to C Street. And then Water Street Road construction and storm drainage, US Route 101 to Adams Street. And the Water Street Road construction, add a sidewalk on one side of the roadway and storm drainage from Adams Street to Monroe. And then in 2024, and these are all things that we're gonna apply for grant funding. So if the grant funding doesn't come through, then the projects don't happen. 2024 is Jefferson Street road construction widening, add a sidewalk on one side, storm improvements from US Route 101 to First Street. And then Broadway Avenue Road reconstruction, again, sidewalk storm drainage from Madison Street to Monroe. And then Broadway Avenue, same thing from Adams Street to Madison. And Reed Street to install a rectangular rapid flashing beacon crossing, US Route 101, that's right there by the Packers. And then on Willapa Avenue, established one as well, and one on Central Avenue. So that's as far as I'm gonna go unless someone from the public would like me to go further and has any questions on that. But are there any comments from the public during the public hearing for this 6-year transportation improvement plan?
I just had one, apparently last meeting you mentioned that the proposed Broadway, was that from Quincy to Harrison, or was postponed till next year?
Oh, yeah, yep. Yep.
So that doesn't need to be on this because it's already.
Yeah, it's
a done
already
deal.
funded, yeah.
And we've already received the grant, or we've been notified we can receive grant funding for that one, right, Dennis?
Yes, that's a done
Yeah.
deal.
So it's a done deal. It will happen. All right, anything else from the public? All right, it's 5:36, so we'll close the public hearing on the 6-year transportation improvement plan. Now we'll move on to item 7, resolution number 2022-07. Resolution to adopt the 6-year transportation improvement plan for 2023 through 2028. And I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, Bunny moves, Patricia seconds. Is there any discussion from the council? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
The 5 in favor. Okay, moving on to item 8. Ordinance number 1580, an ordinance for the city of South Bend adding to portions of chapter 9.10, disorderly conduct, public nuisances of the city of South Bend's municipal code. And this is the final reading. We went through this at our last meeting. So I think I will change it up just a little bit. I believe there are some counselors that would like to comment on this before we entertain a motion. So is there anyone from the council that would like to speak to this?
You good?
Go ahead and go first. You're good.
Looking up the state regulations, the WAC that they have, most of the cities adopt like the state, I don't know if Darren found the state, but they adopt the state level. And most of them have like a 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday type deadline for quiet noise. And they go on a decibel rating is what they go on. And then looking at like on a Friday, Saturday night, there was a few different cities range, the ones I looked at from 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock type thing, which I think is doable somewhere in that line right there. I think that's really good. But most of the cities adopt the state. Most of the ones that I saw, they just take it. So it's so much easier for them to just get it and it's already done. They just adopt it and it goes into their deal rather than writing their own system. So I don't know if Darren found the same thing, but that's kind of what I saw.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I saw. It's not uncommon. A lot of cities have them.
Most cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually DOE, they classify it as noise pollution.
Yep.
And actually, if your ordinance varies from theirs, you're actually supposed to submit it to them, and they'll give it a stamp of approval or reject it. It actually says if you don't hear anything, then they approve it. But so they want input on it if we change it, anything from their standard. That's
Yep.
what I found.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of cities have them. I just feel that it gives the police just a little bit of leverage when they get complaints. I don't think it's gonna change I don't think it's gonna change any type of enforcement. It just, and there are some that do decibel readings, but there are many that don't. They just.
Right.
Yeah, because we're not gonna have decibel meters in our.
And the majority of the ones that I saw that went by the decibel, they were the bigger cities, the ones that have a lot of different things going on within their cities, you know, like from car racing to, I mean, different things that just really, really rev up the noise level. But I think it's very reasonable to look at something like this as having a 10 o'clock curfew type noise thing on, you know, Sunday night through Thursday night, and then Friday, Saturday doing 11, 12 o'clock. And again, it isn't saying that we are the city that's going to be the pills to put our thumb on every little noise. It just gives the police department the opportunity that if a party's going on and it gets really loud and they won't stop, then you can go, you have a code to go by, then you can actually do something about it. And I think that's where this comes in to play. And I think that's what's really important about it. So.
Yeah, and another, you know, the language that's in our disorderly code, you know, will stay there. And we'll still give the police department discretion to go either way outside of that time frame. Because the language is still in there that if you're participating in activities that disrupt the comfort or repose of others, that's a violation of our municipal code. So if, you know, if somebody is calling at 9 o'clock at night and saying that their neighbor is playing music too loud, this gives us the opportunity to either show up, and if we listen to it and we can, you know, use our judgment and say, okay, look, they have until 10 o'clock before we shut them down. Or if we go inside this person's house and we can hear the music from next door and say, yeah, this would definitely, it disrupts your comfort and your peace, you know? So yeah, I can still go shut it down, even though we have a time limit, we still have that option that is currently in our code. This just gives us another tool, and that's all I'm asking for, is another tool. And like I think Bob had mentioned earlier, we're not planning on going out and using this to drive around, and if we hear
No.
something, we're gonna stop and go shut it down.
No.
This is, if somebody calls in a noise complaint, we can either tell them that, yes, I drove by, I heard it, it's not that loud, at 10 o'clock, we'll shut it down. Or we can tell them, you know, hey, yeah, it's 10:30, you were supposed to have your music off half an hour ago, it's time to shut it down. And typically with these, we do not write a ticket on the first time around. It's when we have to go back the second time and say, hey, look, I've already told you once, you need to shut it off. And that's when we write a ticket. It's not the first time we go talk to these people. So,
Which I think is very reasonable, personally.
All right, do we have any further council comments? Okay, so I would entertain a motion for this nuisance ordinance.
Well, have we set the exact?
Benny, were you gonna suggest changing the weekend?
I would suggest that if we're gonna make, I guess I would make a motion that we do Sunday through Thursday night, 10 o'clock PM, I guess it's 10 o'clock PM till 7 AM.
Yep.
And then on Friday and Saturday nights, I don't have a personal problem with midnight. I don't know about you guys. Does anybody else have a thought on that before we make that motion?
That's
fine.
pretty late, especially if you got
11
big-
o'clock?
I was thinking 11 o'clock.
11? I was on the border of it, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess, Mayor, I'll make a motion that we do have quiet time from Sunday night through Thursday from 10 PM till 7 AM, and then on Friday night and Saturday night until 11 PM till 7 AM, quiet time.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I saw Patricia's hand before you, Darren. So Patricia gets the second. Is there any further council discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone is in favor. Okay, thank
Thank
you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to item 9, the approval of the Willapa Harbor Hospital and South Bend Police Department contract. And this is something that the chief has been working on, so I'm going to let you talk a little bit about it before we make a motion, Lucas.
Okay, so real briefly, there's been some security issues at the hospital. The hospital staff has reached out to the police department about these issues. And I ended up paying like a day and a half of overtime for somebody to sit up there. And real quickly, I realized that we're not gonna keep doing this. So I went and met with the powers that be up there and told them that, you know, we can maybe work something out to have voluntary overtime. If they'll pay our officers overtime to sit up there, I'm not gonna make it mandatory for my guys. They're already overworked as it is, but if they wanna earn some extra money and the hospital's gonna pay it, I'll offer it to them. And they wrote up a contract and they're agreeing to pay for any time that our officers spend up there doing security type work. And so we're just gonna bill them at the end of each month for all the hours spent up there. And it was kind of an emergency situation last week when we started this because of the potential security issue at the hospital. But the agreement that I signed with the hospital was basically tentative to the council's approval and the CEO of the hospital's approval, which from my knowledge, the CEO of the hospital's been back and he's good with it. There hasn't been any changes on their end since this. So,
Okay,
questions about it?
I would entertain a motion to approve.
I just have one quick question. Can I ask one quick question?
Let's get the second and then we do the discussion.
Okay,
Do we have a second?
Second,
Derek seconds. Okay, now discussion, Bunny.
okay, sorry. Can you use a officer, like a reserve officer for that?
I am, I only have one reserve officer, but my rule with that one is that he can't be up there unless I have somebody else that's on duty.
Okay, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
Okay, any further council discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Everyone is in favor. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to department head reports. Police Chief Stiegel.
So July has been a big overtime month for us with the 4th of July. You'll see that next month with the payroll stuff, and then I'll give you more detailed information on that in my July monthly report. But just keep in mind that 60% of our overtime in July is reimbursable overtime or grant funded. So that was pretty huge for us. And then our new patrol cars are marked, one of our trucks, and then the newest patrol car. So all of our patrol vehicles, except for the sergeants and mine, are marked and they look pretty good if I say so myself.
Yeah, they're nice
that's good.
So that's all I have.
Okay, Supervisor Hauk.
We already talked about the docks, which I was gonna bring up. So the only other thing is a little update on our submittals that we have for TIB. We actually put in 4 applications this year. The first one was First Street from A Street to C Street. The second was Water Street from Highway 101 to Monroe. The third is the overlay on Broadway from Adams to Monroe. And the final one was 4 RRFBs, which are the rectangular rapid flashing beacons in 3 locations, Central, Wolf Hall, and Reed Street. So hopefully we can get one of those. That'd be nice. That's all I have.
Okay, Chief McGee with the Fire Department.
I do have one thing. We got a boat that's the Zodiac type boat that was gifted to us from Raymond.
Mhm.
It's flat, it don't hold there. I've tried to get rid of it, but we've had a few people that wanna buy this. And I'm asking for the permission to surplus it. So we can get rid of it. I was gonna throw it away, but
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to surplus the old Zodiac boat.
Moved.
In a second? Patricia seconds. Is there any discussion from the council?
Oh,
Not big.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Tell your vote. Anything else from the fire department?
Nope, that is it.
Okay. Clerk treasurer SOA.
I don't have anything.
Okay. So it's my report, and I do have something. In the last few weeks, the city of Raymond, they've got openings in the police department and on public works. And they've come headhunting our crew pretty hard. They've offered big sign-on bonuses to the police department. They've hit 4 out of 6, I believe it is, maybe it's 5 out of 7 of our public works crew personally gone to their homes and trying to twist their arms to come and work for Raymond instead of working for the city of South Bend. We're a little frustrated. We need to be thinking budget season is coming. There's a big disparity between what we recompense our employees versus what Raymond recompenses theirs. And it's a big time carrot. And it's tough to compete against something like that. When budget season comes, I would like to take a look and see what we can do, if anything. I want you guys to be thinking about it. Think about creative. We've got to start investing in our people, or we're not going to be able to keep them. It's just that simple. And with all the work we put into training, Lucas brought me a sheet that showed, just to train an officer from the academy to the time you pay them when they're in the academy and everything, it's $68,000 per officer. For someone else to come along and take them and not have to do that in their own department. We've done the training, but because we don't offer the same type of salary, they go somewhere else to work within just 2 or 3 or 4 years and they're gone. So it's a continual revolving door. And I really feel it's time that we try and do something in the budget to see what we can do to help our people. I don't think it's possible to match Raymond, but it sure would go a long way if we could make up some of that ground, and that carrot wasn't quite so large. So anyway, I just wanted to drop that in your thinking caps. And I know it's a tough time right now with what everyone is under in the community. The economy is tanking. I know that. But at the same time, it's really hard to sit and watch our people be attracted for something that we are unable to offer. So that's where we're at. That's the reality that we face. And we need to really seriously look at it and see what we can do and how we can do it. So, does anyone have anything to say?
Well, I agree with you. I mean, we were down this road the last time we went through the wage negotiations, and we knew that this is definitely an issue. So
Yeah.
it's time we look closely at contracts, the comparable areas, and make it right.
I just want to, I agree with that. I've talked to Chief Stigl about it. We've discussed things, and I think that the right step is just a step forward. Even if we can't get all the way, it's got to show something. And I think we sit back on it, I think we're going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
So
We really tried in this last contract to break down that gap a little bit. And we did for the short term, and then they matched us and did it right back to us, and we didn't gain any ground at all.
I would
So,
just like to say, ever since Jerry Moran, darn near every open position in Raymond's been filled by South Bend Public Works.
it has, yes.
Yes, it has.
It truly has.
There's three of us working over there right now, currently. And it's,
Just disheartening when you train somebody up, they
You get
After
them
a
their
year,
CDL, or
year and a
you
half,
get them
they
on the street in the cop
sail
car,
off on
and
you.
they're off.
They're going.
Yep,
they don't even have to look at the other applicants, because these guys
No.
are already trained in
Yeah.
everything that has to do with city infrastructure.
So,
So they have their CDLs.
yeah,
and
they're ready to
everything.
go.
They're ready to rock right out the gate.
It's gonna cost you 6 to 8 grand to send somebody to CDL school.
Right, yeah, you can't have Tim train him anymore,
No,
so.
No, and I would like to add, and I know it's to be blunt, but the city council, you know, you guys, all of us in the city, we're proud of our people and we're proud of all of our employees. And, you know, we like to come in here and give praise to our people. You know, the crew does a good job. The police department does a good job. We make good arrests. The crew is quick on their feet. We gotta do something to keep these good people, because otherwise we're not gonna have the kind of employees that we have.
5 miles isn't far to drive for
It's
another
not
10
very
grand
far
here.
for
No, it's
10,
not.
for a 10 grand sign-on bonus and $5, almost $6 an hour more. It's not very far to go. And when you have a family, you know, it's hard to pass that up.
You can't blame them.
So, and yeah.
Okay. Well, put it on your thinking caps because we're gonna try and see what we can do when budget season comes this year. So do we have any public comments regarding our current agenda items? That would be the police contract, the nuisance ordinance, the 6-year transportation plan. I don't see or hear anything. So let's move on to council comments. Counselor Kuiken,
I'm good.
Counselor Manlow,
I'm good too.
Counselor Williams,
Yep, I think I've said enough.
Counselor Neve.
I would just, again, like to thank Lucas while everybody is here for getting that, the pickup and the trailer by Chen's moved off of the highway. That was a good job. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Counselor Davis.
Well, I was just gonna say with the nuisance order, having read through it all, you know, we need new businesses in town to generate tax dollars for us, which would help pay for, you know, raises for the employees. And maybe if we could get rid of, I spent quite a bit of time driving around because Marina likes a Bluey album that I play in my car. So I've driven every street in South Bend and we have an overabundance of eyesores and with some nice houses scattered in, but you know, we need to beef up the city coffers by attracting businesses. And one way to do that is to enforce the nuisance, especially the stuff you can see from the highway and the stuff around the South Bend School. And, you know, it looks bad and it's looked bad for a long time and I don't see a whole lot of progress. And since we can fine them and fine them again, you know, and we have buildings that are derelict buildings that are dangerous right on our main highway that people can wander into and get hurt. So I think that, you know, we need to really take a stab at cleaning the town up and hopefully attracting, you know, residences and businesses to come here. That's it.
Okay. I don't disagree. It would be nice to get rid of the eyesores. Okay, do we have any future agenda topics? No? All right, thanks everyone for attending. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.